Yeah, ways to achieve code logic in clicks. If you consider Apex trigger, those can be achieved in flows, in record trigger flows, workflow, and process builder. However, workflow and process builder are going to be deprecated soon in coming years. The support will not be available for workflows and process builders. So there is no only one way is record trigger flows. These details are discussed in our episode 1. So this in this session we are in depth. We are going to discuss about the other parts like how Visualforce LWC are replaced by screen flows, and where we have to choose screen flow and where we have to choose LWC ARA and Visualforce. Yeah, once again, one note I have to share is ARA also LWC is an alternative to ARA. There are so many extra features has been added with LWC which is not available in ARA. Visualforce, wherever we want to do some operations directly has to hit database as well as the backend, then we has to go for Visualforce. Still, in some cases, we need to use Visualforce, like generating PDF like that. And the next one, asynchronous Apex. Asynchronous Apex alternatively handled in declarative through scheduled trigger flows. So this also we are going to discuss. And next one is Apex controllers, where those can be achieved through auto launched flows. Yeah, this is in the third part is not much to discuss about. It has very limited use, so we are not going to discuss about that. Now, Vijay is going to take over and he will be giving the overview and the preview of episode 1. We will be giving the light note about what we had done in our episode first. Yeah, over to you, Vijay.
Yeah, thank you, Manoj. Hi, all. Good evening to all. Uh, first of all, I would like to share like I would like to summarize the last episode. Last episode, Manoj have completed with what is code. Code is nothing but coding or programming usually refers to use of programming languages to implement the business logics or create functionalities in Salesforce, Apex, LWC, ARA, and Visualforce are the programming languages and methodologies. In Salesforce, these are the things are having a coding coding functionalities. What is clicks? What is click? In clicks, clicks are the declarative programming. Just and we need to drag and drop the functions. From that, we can achieve our motive of the goal. In Salesforce, there are multiple declarative tools. They are available. Some of them tools are available. Some of them are workflow, process builder, validation rule, approval processes, and assignment rule, email to case, escalation rule, and etc. Next, consideration in choosing code versus click. There are few considerations we have discussed in we have explained in last session. They are time, complexity, expertise, code knowledge, resource, testing, complex queries, and handling large volume of data. Time means comparing to comparatively of code versus click. While we choosing the click, the time consumption of developing some tasks are reduces. While we choose code segment, it will be take more time to develop the code. When it depends on the complexity of um, complexity of requirements. Uh, yeah, simple tasks are better in flow than Apex. Yeah. Next, trigger in trigger. There are having a trigger part. Code also having a trigger and the click also having a trigger. In code we define that Apex. In click uh, we choose mm, yeah, record trigger flow. In Click, there are an option like record trigger flow. From that we can from that we can without code we can able to without coding knowledge we can able to create a trigger logic inside the Salesforce. Like comparing code, we want the coding knowledge uh, Apex knowledge. We want to develop our code, develop our requirement in the code. Next one is when to choose a flow versus Apex trigger. Uh, like in the trigger point of view, Salesforce flow is a greatest option for users who want to automate simple processes quickly and early. While Apex provides a more advanced level of customization and automation. Like it automatically depends on the specific needs to skill sets of the organization. It's depends on flow concludes the flow concludes no, if admin can also do the flow by flow, he can also like admin can also develop some trigger requirements. If we want more resources to for develop the codes by code. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Vijay. Yeah, as Vijay said, the conclusion from the trigger point of view is Salesforce is greater option for the users who want to automate simple process quickly and easily. When there is a process is simple and they no need to learn Apex programming fully to achieve it. They simply can go and click, and learning the flow will not have will ask you for much time. Where programming at least you need 6 months to learn. Uh, but the flows within a week you can learn and implement the logic. If you know the business logic, you can easily implement. While but Apex provides a much advanced level of customization, which we cannot achieve through flows. There are performance-wise differences also there, where Apex works better. But slowly, Salesforce is improving flows, and they are trying to align with Apex capability. But still, till that day, Apex will be used. That's for sure. So we can go to the next slides. There in this session, I am going to explain about UI perspective, because flows will not just not used in trigger perspective alone. In UI also, flows are used. I think many of all of you know where the UI level flows are used. The only way that we are achieving it is screen flows. Okay, in screen flows, still, once again, the simple requirement and less SOQL queries are involved means flow is best option to create interactive use pages. The screen flow is much more simple and easier to develop when to create an interactive pages. In case client requirement has a complex queries, then you have to choose Apex, because it is comparatively easier than declarative programming, because the admin has to create number of components to achieve the simple logic, whereas the same logic can be achieved in Apex with 100 lines of code. If your client asks you to stick to flow, like our we have our own admin, they only know flows, so they are asking you to develop only in flows, and you have the complex SOQL query, then there is only one better option to do that is create a invocable Apex class and write the complex SOQL query in it, and create an Apex action in flow and call that invocable class inside that Apex sorry flow. Through this way only you can achieve it. So anyhow, to achieve this, once again you have to go back to the Apex. But when your client so stubborn about flow, you must use flow only, then that is the only best option you can do it. Otherwise you have to create more number of components. Definitely it will be a very tedious task for them to maintain that. And second point, yeah, so the 2 points I have discussed, like requirement level and SOQL level. And third one I want to explain about is, if a developer don't know CSS and JavaScript, Flow is enough to create a super duper interactive page, right? But if he knows CSS and JavaScript, there are other options, alternative options like LWC, Visualforce, and Aura, which will give you a better and customizable pages for you. And I want to ask you about branding point of view. In branding point of view, LWC is better because flows are based on LDS. I think everyone know about LDS. LDS is Lightning Design System. The LWC is built with. So you can, there is a constraint with flow that whatever the things that you are seeing in your screen, which are developed through flows, are only within this LDS, Lighting Design System. You cannot spread your wings apart from that. You have to be that your client is so concerned about branding, because what is branding? Branding is a must in this marketing world. Everyone will have their own logo, their own color palettes. Like if you see, many clients have like orange is their color code. They want to have all their pages in orange, and they want to have their logo in their flows, in their pages. This cannot be achieved in flows, whereas in the LWC we can easily, if you know the coding, easily you can achieve it. So the main point I want to say here is, through flows, we cannot achieve branding or better UI or customizable specific to the customer UI cannot be done through flows. Then you have to come back to Apex, LWC, VF, and Aura. Aura is outdated. LWC is a better option for that. And one more, FSL. FSL is a field service lightning app for field service engineers. This There is one problem with FSL is, you cannot create a screen flow in FSL in a regular screen flow. If you want to create it, it has to be mobile dependent screen flow. Uh, So there is inefficiency compared with the regular screen flow, because lightning data table, a simple lightning data table in which is used in screen flow will not work in FSL screen flow. So you cannot achieve the same thing what you are achieving in the regular screen flow. And another one problem is, for the same functionality you have to create two flows. If you want to create some like product, and you have created a flow for product, creating the product, then if you want to do the same thing in FSL app, you have to create another one flow, and you have to implement you have to create two quick actions to run this thing, and two different apps, in mobile app as well as in the desktop. And whatever changes you are doing in future in this create product, you have to implement it in the same two flows, and you have to once again test it. This is one tedious process where FSL. So default, there is only option for you to create a LWC and refer it in a quick action. That's how FSL also referring to. There are so many suggestions that don't use the regular like FSL screen flow. Instead of that, please use LWC and just call it through a quick action. And another one part, instant bot builder. Here, one point we can say is, it is like crediting to the flow. Like for creating chatbots, Salesforce provided a chatbot builder. It is a declarative tool for building chat AIs. For like for getting some values from the backend or database, we have two options. One is creating invocable Apex class and creating flow components for getting records in this chat AI. As chat builders are declarative tool, Flow suits better for it, which reduces development time, because systematically the chat builder won't have much complex queries. Let me say an example. There is an insurance tool. You have bought an insurance. You have a mobile app for that. Like you want to report an road accident. You like the car, something has happened, met with an accident. If you want to, I think you know that within 24 hours you have to report it. So if you have a handy app for that, you just go to the chat, and first question it will ask is, what is the need of this chat? Road accident, claim status, or new claims, or new policy. So if you choose road accident, and the system knows this person already have a insurance for two cars. So I will go back to my database and query this detail, and I will show it to you, and which vehicle that met with the road accident. If you choose that vehicle, and it will go, further it will go to the other chat options. So in this case, we no need to write a very complex query. There we can just use get record of the flows. So this is the place where much suited for the flows. Wherever there is very less complex queries, there we can use flows. This is one input from my side. And next, so anyone have any doubts uh, in this UI perspective?
Guys, please use chat section to raise your queries.
Okay, I'm moving to the next part. Asynchronous development decisions. Like already said, asynchronous process can be achieved through schedule trigger flow or in Apex batch jobs. There are so many limitations between flow and Apex trigger, like querying process. Scheduled trigger flow can query maximum of 50 records, 50,000 records, but Apex can query you 50 million records. So here also number of size is so much dependent with. So here your arg is too large, and the batch class going to refer, or the batch class is going to sorry, not batch class. The batch is going to refer more number of records. Then you should not choose flows here. In that case, you have to choose Apex. The Apex is the better option. You can track how many number of records has been processed or failed. Those can be easily tracked in Apex code better than flows. Flows also can be done, but definitely for if now here numbers are huge, it is wiser to choose Apex batch. And in flows, each record retrieved will be represented as an interview. The flow has a limitation that per day maximum of 2.5 lakhs only can be created, or 200 into number of user license, whichever is maximum, sorry, whichever is minimum. So 2.5 lakhs will not exceed 2.5 lakhs of interviews, total Salesforce interview, flow interview. Uh, Anyone knows about flow interview in better? If you know what is flows interview, please share your thoughts. So flow interview will be created, as I said earlier, even in record trigger flows. So whatever operation happens through flows, it will be converted into a flow interview. You are updating something, you are getting something, sorry, you are getting some record or updating some record through any flow, is green flow or record trigger flow or asynchronous schedule trigger flow, whatever it is, it will be converted into a flow interview. If you see, you can see it in the debug log. In case of Apex trigger also, a bulk DML operation, it will be created into a batch class size of 200. Uh, do you know this? Anyone know this? Like when you are bulk uploading something, and it is triggering Apex triggers, and how the data will be converted into, in what whether how the data of bulk upload and trigger perspective, how it will run. Anyone knows it? Yeah, as I said, so once again I will say, all the flow process, whether it is record trigger flow or whatever it will be converted into flow interviews. Like each and every record will be converted into a flow interview. If you are uploading 500 records and there is a flow trigger has involved in it, if you see the debug log, you can see 500 entries in the debug log. Similarly, if you are uploading 500 record DML, you are doing the 500 DML operations. There is no flow trigger. Instead of that, there is apex trigger is there. If you see the debug log, there you can see three number of batches has been created. One is two is with 200 size, another one is 100, because maximum size for a trigger will be 200. So here also the constraints are there. Maximum batch size of the flow is 200, but uh, maximum size of the apex trigger is 2000. Default is 200. Like I already said, when even default, if Salesforce itself starting apex batch class, then it will be 200, but we can extend up to 2000. Whereas in flows, they are fixing it as 200. You cannot exceeding a single batch cannot exceed 200 records. A scheduled trigger flow starts at the specific time and frequency. It means that you cannot launch a scheduled trigger flow by any other means. That is, you cannot schedule your scheduled trigger flow on Monday of every week. That is a business process. Like every month starting, you have to run a batch class, or every week you have to run it. That cannot be achieved in a scheduled trigger flow. Then once again, you have to come back to a Apex scheduler, Apex batches. So this is one of the major drawback of a scheduled trigger flow. So in conclusion, we have to choose flow if records that runs in scheduler are less in number and won't affect the governor limits of the flow. So only when then we have to choose. So here the number of size is the constraint here. So whenever there is number of records are lesser, then you can go for flows. And where is the number of records are huge, a large volume of data are involved, then it is better to choose with a batch apex class. Okay. Yeah. Any doubts from your side? Anything I want to repeat, I can repeat. If you have contradict, because these are based on my analysis only. If you contradict any statement, you can also please raise your questions. Yes, Nishan. Yeah, once again, I will explain that upload process. When we upload 500, sorry, 400 records, like some DML operation is happening, and there is flow trigger is running behind it, it will create 400 interview process parallelly, not one by one. Parallelly, it will be created. But whereas in the Apex batch class, these 400 records will be converted into two batches, and one by one it will be running. First 200 records will be updated, or whatever the trigger logic you have written, it will run for first 200 records and another 200 records. Likewise, it will run. Nishan, I think is this answered your question? And I'll be answering to the Surya's question. Yeah, instead outbound messages, it has to be it has to happen. Outbound messages or email alert or any non-DML operations, it is better to use it in after flows. After in trigger flows, there are options like before and after, right? In that, after trigger flows are the better way to do any non-DML operations. This thing also has been discussed in our episode 1. And to Roy's question, it is not like that. It can do more than 200 records. My This is performance wise. I'm saying that it will be uh, it will be running in 200 batches. See, okay, right. To explain this, I have done a R&D for doing the same operation with flow and Apex trigger. When I update, when I create a contact, the account has to be updated with the account. I will be doing I done through a flow as well as the Apex trigger. Initially, the flow gives a difference, like flow is faster than Apex. Really, I confused. And when I started increasing number of the counts of creating the contacts, the difference in the Apex are much more. I mean, flow is taking very worst performance when there is large number of data. Apex is drastically showing I mean, the time taken for the Apex is very less compared when the large number of data upload DML operation is happening. The flows are though so inferior in perspective of performance compared to Apex when there is large number of data is involved. Nishant, I think this the last question has been answered, because when this Salesforce interviews are started in parallel, it's clearly affecting the flow performance. When it is run as a run in Apex Trigger, it is running as a batch classes, right? But comparatively, the time taken for Apex versus the flow, when the large amount of data is involved, Apex is better performing, and flow is showing much inferior slowness compared to Apex. Guru, definitely it is flow. If minimal data is involved, definitely there also employee strength also will be less, and the developers even resource also will be less. Like see, already I said, the person who can learn admin part is within 3 to 6 months they can learn it. But for getting learning, understanding programming, at least they need 1 year to getting expertise. There is no limitation for that. Even for 10, 15 years also, people are still learning programming. There is no stop for that. But for admin perspective, within 3 months they can learn. So a minimal data organization with a minimal data, definitely they will choose flow, and it is better for them. When there is large data is minimal and expertise is less, definitely we can go for flows, because everything can be achieved in flows.
Yeah, Manoj, I have one question. So, okay. So, I'm working with large organization, right? So, our requirement sets, I have a lot of requirement sets, but some things are looks to go best to go with flow, and some requirements are looks to best to go with code. Means, is that okay to maintain those kind of things, like some of these things to be in flow and like code?
Yeah, but even Salesforce is not suggesting what you are saying. Like, especially see in especially in trigger point of view, if you have screen flows and LWC pages in same arc, that is not an issue. Definitely, it will not affect one another. But when in case of trigger, where the order of execution is dependent on another, there Salesforce is suggesting either you go with flow or please go with Apex. And in last time also I given this explanation that when there is no DML operation is involved, better go with after flow. And when after trigger flow, and where there is a DML operation is involved, and when there is update records are involved, then it is better to choose Apex triggers, because in order of execution, after trigger flow will run at the end of everything. In last session also I said the order of in trigger perspective, order of execution is like before triggered flow, before apex trigger, and after apex trigger, and after flow trigger. So these non-deable operations are better be placed in after flow trigger.
Yeah, thank you much. Okay, so I think Manoj answered almost, I mean, addressed almost everything. So I hope you guys are clear. So yes, so we are in at the end of our first and foremost series like click versus code. So I personally had a lot of questions on this particular topic, and I hope everyone uh, make use of it. Like, and also one more thing, we have a recording of this particular session, and I will upload that recording into YouTube, and will provide the link in the event page itself, so you can get it from there. So yes, so thank you Manoj for this wonderful series, and we had a lot of inputs from you, and also thank you Vijay to share your experience and your insights on this particular topic. So thank you once again. So, and one more information to you guys, like uh, we are going to have an upcoming series on field service lighting. I think most of you guys are aware of the package, so that is a separate package by Salesforce to help field service things like for their customers. Like we will see what all are the things involved on that, and what are the functionalities which has. So I just provided that link to that first episode in the chat, so just register to that event as well. So our plan is to have alternative Wednesdays for that uh, field service lightning series. So make use of it. I'm sure that will be that will be pretty much useful for you guys. Yes. So, and also, is there any suggestions or input also? It is, I mean, I welcome that also. So just I will wait for 5 more minutes. If there is any suggestions on community perspective as well, just provide that also.
Sure, Sindhil. We will in upcoming days. Definitely, we will be preparing some demos for you. Like the session, as I said, na, right? While doing some table operations, the logs. While checking the logs, we can see the interviews are generating. Those things and all I am explaining over this call. Definitely, in those sessions, if I show it to you in demo means, at least the logs. If I capture the log and show it to you means, it will be helpful for you. And in upcoming days, we will be preparing like that. Please stay tuned with us. Definitely, we will be doing this.
So yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for attending, so we can wrap up this session now. So yeah, so we can meet at our field service lightning part on. Yes, thank you so much guys. Yeah, bye bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.